Hello, Biology 2. We left off talking about earthworms and segmentation and the idea that our animals that are getting more complex are starting to show repeated themes in compartments or segments. And what I didn't mention before is that's actually going to allow animals to get bigger, because the bigger an animal it is, the more cells it has and the more needs it has to deliver goods and services to those cells. So segmentation is a way to allow animals to get bigger. And along with this, in I don't know, fairly recent years, scientists have figured out that the mechanism for the development of some of this happening, and we're also figuring out why that should matter to us. And so I wanted to show you, we mentioned Hox genes in the last video, and then I set up an assignment that, oh goodness, there was some confusion on it, and I take responsibility for that. I had meant to put up a current events page that already had the current event filled in as homeobox or Hox genes. And since I put the wrong file up, it was open-ended. Some people understood to do that. Some people who attended the Zoom meeting caught on to do it from the Zoom meeting. And I don't recall, I think I mentioned it in the last video, but I'm not sure. So I'm so sorry. But if you did not do your current event over Hox genes, please go ahead and redo it. And I'll also consider that you did some extra work and find a way to get you some points to make it up to you. So, but I want you to understand this concept. It's such a cool thing. And I'm going to move on a little bit further with it in this short little video, and also add some more information. I'd said midweek, I think I posted that there would be a quiz, and I don't want to do the quiz yet because quite a few of you still either haven't sent in the current event, so please get that to me, or I did ask for some redos, so I want to slow that down. And I want to be sure that you got plenty of time and space to do some gardening, and for your gardening extended assignment, so you're recording too, but also to relax and to remember to enjoy the ride, that hopefully you'll get some good stuff out of this class and your other classes. But I know it's strange times, and it's hard to always get everything organized and like you want it to be, and I understand that. So let's just, when you start feeling stressed, that is your body telling you to just stop, look around, breathe, I don't know, maybe go for a walk, stretch, listen to some music you enjoy. What else could you do? So for Easter, I brought home some stashed chocolate that I had at work. I brought some home for Harris, and I like these because they're not big. And I just have to remember not to eat a lot of them at once, because I had a big bag of them. I'm like, ah! So Harris and I had some of these for Easter. I like this, just a nice size. I'm not going to eat it in front of you. I got to keep looking at myself. I'm going to look up at the camera, which is weird. Noticing small things that you enjoy in your life. I'm sorry I can't give this to, if I could give this to you, I would, but I'm sure you got some things around your house. If not chocolate, I'm sorry, but don't dwell on the stuff you wish you could go get right now. Enjoy some things, just listen to birds singing, or when the weather hopefully is nice by the time you listen to this, just go out and enjoy some fresh air, notice something growing. And that's part of why I wanted us to do some plants. Okay? Anyway, back to segmentation. I want to give you a little bit of new stuff that might help you kind of remember what the heck you're doing with your current event, and move us forward a little. And then quiz will come. I'll talk a little bit more about the next phylum, Arthropoda, in our next video chat, and then I'll do a quiz. So quiz probably won't happen until next week. Okay. And so I want to show you, I'm going to do some screen shares as soon as I remember how to do that. Okay, so I hope you can see homeobox gene definition here. I'll post a bigger definition on the upcoming assignment. But so the homeobox genes, says right here, are a large group of similar genes that direct the formation, you can read this, I'll read along with you though, of many body structures during early embryonic development. Okay? And they're relevant not just in earthworms and flies, but it goes on to explain that in humans, we've recognized these homeobox genes, and we're looking at about a couple hundred genes. By functional genes, it means we've seen the genes and we know that they turn on. So we could have some non-functional genes that are there, just historically they're there, they don't seem to turn on in humans. So that's what it means by functional genes. And 65 pseudogenes, structurally similar genes that do not provide instruction for making proteins. So there you go. Pseudogenes, a new term for me. I don't know if that just means that they don't activate, or there's some reason that they couldn't activate. I'm not sure. It's interesting. Okay, so we're going to be looking at some pictures similar to this in a few moments. Let me then move this. I'm going to give you an assignment, and I know coloring may not be something you can do, so we'll just work with this. There is some reading that I want you to just go through on this, and if you can color it, that's really cool. And if you can't, that might just be, I could make it an optional assignment, but I would want you to know the content. And so you've got an assignment that's just going to show you how to follow along with a slab of genes on a chromosome that, and the genes are in order. So what it's saying is this particular gene turns on activation in the maggot of the fly, you know, the larvae, that starts right here. And what does that become? That becomes features in the head region. And so here's the purple part that becomes the mouth part. And so we have a sequential set of genes that also turn on sequentially and are in order of, or I'll have to check this video when I'm done. Okay, so that's interesting. I want to show you something else. I'm going to pull another picture up from my pictures and then get that. I think I'm catching on to how to do this a little more quickly. Let's see this. So on the second part of your coloring, it's actually going to relate the fly and its larvae to a vertebrate, a mouse. And what we find is that we've got the same sequence. In vertebrates, it's showing up on multiple chromosomes, but we're still able to line them up with their homologous, that's H-O-M-O, ologous, L-O-G-O-U-S, I guess, H-O-M-O-L-O-G-U-S. So it means coming from the same origins, seem to come from the same origins, the same sequence of genes, that it would make sense would just be passed down over evolutionary time and showing up in vertebrates as well. So over time with mutations, you know, that we might have different numbers of chromosomes and yet they're still showing up very, very similarly placed and coding for the same things. There's some pretty compelling evidence that of common ancestors. So that's worth your consideration, I would say. And then one more place I wanted to go to show you. And all right, so I hope now my picture's showing up. I can see it. I hope you can see it too. Maybe I can even enlarge it, or is that just pushing my luck? Okay, so what this picture is I drew on top a segmented worm, and it has its little setae, which are the little bristles that can protrude out. Some of you stated that you saw that on the underside when the animal was moving. They actually can retract them in their body or bring them out, and they're just like little, I don't know, they're just like almost like stiff hairs that help them move along. And so this is a Phylum Annelida. Here's your earthworm, but look here, Phylum Arthropoda. This is where we're moving on to. So we're on to the arthropods, which includes insects, okay? And so it also includes millipedes and centipedes. So here I've drawn, I think this looks like a millipede to me. And so here's my millipede. Superficially looks really similar to the earthworm up above. So the millipede drawn in pink looks a lot like the arthropod up above, or the earthworm that's up above it. And so, and we have a similar idea of segment after segment after segment. Now what happens is within Phylum Arthropoda is we start seeing some of those segments moshing together. I mentioned this in the last video, moshing together into kind of larger segments. I kind of think of it as like if you've worked with Excel or I know you've done some spreadsheets. So the spreadsheet in Google, like we did first semester, then you know you can merge data and merge. So you can merge multiple cells into a bigger cell, and that's what I think of when I look at the head on the insect. So the insect is in Phylum Arthropoda. Did King Philip come over? Class Hexapoda, and then you learn some orders of insects first semester. And so it's got several segments have become a head, and several segments have become a thorax. And then when you get to the abdomen, if you lift up the wings and you look underneath, in a lot of insects, you can see the multiple segments of the abdomen still. It's all called abdomen, but you can see the external evidence of an abdomen. If you look at my picture, I don't know if my cursor shows up. I hope it does when you're looking at this, but you see little pink dots in a row at the bottom of the abdomen going from, you know, the cephalic end towards the caudal end. That just is a way I can talk about direction. So I know the abdomen doesn't go all the way up to where you think of cephalic, the head, but it goes toward, so cephalic to caudal, if we think of it that way. You see those little pink dots? Those are how the insect breathes. So those are spiracles through which it breathes. So we see a repeated theme there. And so we also see the repeated theme in the legs. Now they've been compressed all up into the thorax region. So we're starting to see a little more specialization. Insect doesn't have multiple hearts, it has one bigger heart. So, but we still have this idea of segmentation and specialization in regions. And we still have Hox genes taking effect. So Hox genes were discovered actually in insects, I believe, in fruit flies. And they then they backtracked and said, wow, those are in earthworms too. And wow, those are even, we can find them in platyhelminthes, the flatworms as well. And so, we can follow the turning on of the genes and kind of see this process. And as they become more specialized, if you look at the mouth parts on my insect I drew, those actually line up with Hox genes that would still be footsies in the millipede, or still be feet in the, or still be anterior or cephalically located segments in the earthworm. So by the time we're comparing millipedes to insects, we can see that the same genes that turn on the front leg of the millipede are turning on some of the mouth parts for the insect. So we can see a homology or a relatedness, a genetic relatedness between the legs at the front of the millipede and the mouth parts in the insect. So there are lots of ways we can kind of noodle with these Hox genes and think about how adaptation could result in, say, putting concentration of all that, the energy for making legs, instead of having them go through the whole body. Now we've got them at the front and the thorax. We can make bigger legs, but we still have this sequential turning on of genes. It's just been redirected to a certain part of the animal. So that's interesting stuff. I'm going to give you one more video. This is a PBS video. I will remember to open up access to it so we don't have to struggle with opening. And I'm going to give you a coloring assignment that you can read over and or color. And the assignment, if I bring this back to stop share, back to me, here's a colored version of the assignment. And so if you like to play along with that, that's great. It also has a little bit of reading material to help you along with it. I will make this an optional assignment in case you're not able to do the coloring, so I'm not going to count you down if you can't do it. Because I can't think of a way for you to, do it with that. I can't think of a way for you to write out that you see what's going on, but I would invite you to, and if you get confused about what colors things should be, I'm not even saying this is right. This was a student one. I don't know if they have it absolutely accurate, but it's really easy to go online and look, just put in Hox Genes and fly, and you'll get a whole lot of illustrations that show it in color. So that's pretty cool. And I might even put up, this is a little headier of one, but it's one that you can do. I could link it if you just want the points. It's optional for people who are chomping at the bit on this, who really enjoy it. I might post that one. I just don't want to, I don't want to overwhelm you with stuff, as some of you who are science driven might be like waiting for more stuff to come out. So I'm not. And I really am interested in you focusing on the garden more if we can get you enthused about that. So I'll put those two out as optional assignments, I guess, and then get your current event done. That's kind of important that you do a Homeobox current event, because I want you to start seeing the significance of this. And you know what I'd really like to show you is this video that I love. It's my favorite parody video. And if you, after you've kind of dug into Homeobox genes some, I think maybe you will understand enough that it might open up some excitement about why this is important. It's like, you don't get the joke unless you understand some of the science behind it, but maybe we'll be ready and I can post that for you. So it's my absolute favorite parody YouTube video of all times. And I think I'll post that on this assignment too. And if you get a chance to look at some of this, we can talk on Tuesday or Thursday when you and I meet up. And so we've got a Tuesday at, I don't get the times wrong, is it 10:30 for you guys on Tuesday? And then I gave an optional Thursday afternoon one, so maybe I can get a few more of you. You're welcome to double dip and do both of them. If you're getting lonely at home and just want to chit chat and see who shows up, you're welcome to do that. Our Zooms are partly just getting some community together, answering any questions, and if I feel like I need to add something schooly, I will. Just remind you what your assignments are mainly. So look forward to seeing you on a Zoom meeting. And take care of you. Remember to notice how you're feeling, and if you're starting to feel like, take those breaks. Notice the nice things around you. If I had something nice around me besides this, I'd show something else. Here's something that's nice for my pup. I think she's asleep. We've been keeping her alive, keeping her lively and happy with, sausage bites. So. Exercising and doing some things that you enjoy, and I think sometimes just being a little quiet, taking some of that do nothing time. Breathing. So remember the breathing, just slowing it down and just noticing that really around you there are a lot of things that are just fine, all right, feel normal. Got some stuff going on in the world that certainly could stress you, but always there'll be things that are stressful, and always still there will be the sky above and nice little things to remind you that you're here, we're here, life is good, and I'll see you soon.